Do you know me?
Outcast.
Something's going on in this town.
People are afraid.
It's too late to fight. You ain't seen a fight yet.
Be prepared. I let my guard down, and evil slipped in. The battle is coming, and unless we're prepared, that darkness will spew forth with the reek of a sewer.
Having worked on Walking Dead, I still have never really thought of zombie stories as being scary. But to me, demonic possession has always been absolutely terrifying.
Robert wrote a phenomenal script, establishing a tone, creating these characters, and creating the world.
These things are everywhere. They're all around us. Now, you've been gone a long time. You have no idea how bad it's gotten.
Writing the Outcast pilot and the comic book, they were pretty much done concurrently. There are scenes that exist in both, but we're gonna get to them in different ways.
We'll take like Paul's frames and try to recreate them, which is such a cool concept.
He doesn't like the light. My mother didn't either.
When it comes to adapting the comic as a show, we're expanding the world of Rome, West Virginia substantially.
Hold on. There are others walking around town with the devil inside them.
To take a 20-some page comic and turn it into a 60-minute premium cable show, stories need to expand. You need to allow the characters to grow and evolve.
You got a gift, son. I don't want to help you use it. But you also got a reputation. You want to fight the devil, start by cleaning your fucking act up.
They've done a really awesome job with the casting. As soon as I saw Phil, I was like, yep, that's the Reverend.
Seeing them take the comic book and make it into reality, they're really capturing the whole feel and the tone, and it's amazing to see.
Seeing it all come together, it's exactly what I envisioned. This material is gonna have some hair standing on end.
Initially, Robert Kirkman emailed me and just kind of said like, hey, I have a new book I'm doing and wonder if you're interested. It's a horror book, but not just a horror book because he's working on Walking Dead, which is considered horror stuff too. But I always look at that as like more like gory and kind of actiony in a way. It's a way that's not really horror the way I consider horror, which is something that's like much more mental and kind of like a visceral feeling that you get from it, and the creepiness, something that stays with you later afterwards and stuff, you know, and that was something I really wanted to try, and he said that's the kind of thing he was trying to do with this book. So I was like, this is all just like, you know, like just amazingly perfect and exactly what I want to do. When this came up, it was something that I guess he thought of me as an artist that would fit the kind of tone and the feel and stuff that he was looking for Outcast. My style, I think, lends itself to it. I kind of have like a darker style, use a lot of shadows and things like that. I still work very traditional and still do like brush and pen and stuff on paper. Like a lot of my friends and stuff in the industry I've switched over to like more digital and more other things like that. And I don't necessarily like that. I like getting my hands dirty. It's something that like I got into art to kind of like get into it, and like, you know, I have ink all over the place. And sometimes I have ink on my face. Like my wife comes home or something like that, and she's like, "What are you doing? Are you eating the ink? What's happening?" It's pretty amazing seeing them kind of take the comic book and make it into reality in a way that's so faithful to like what we kind of established in the book, and really like basing a lot off that. I know I talked to a lot of people, whether it was the, you know, costume designer or the directors or whoever on set, and they were talking about like, oh yeah, we actually referenced the book a lot, like we have it there on set. They've really captured the tone and the feel of the book so well.
Outcast is based on a comic by Robert Kirkman, who also created The Walking Dead, of course. I find this maybe a little bit more exciting. One, because I'm part of it, but also because it's new Robert Kirkman material.
To me, demonic possession has always been absolutely terrifying, just because I have a religious upbringing and there's much more of a real, tangible sense of dread. When I was trying to pick my next project, I thought no one has ever really done an exorcism story, where the people that do the exorcism actually continue that mission.
People should expect much more than just horror. It is a character show with horrific elements in it.
There's a deep mythology involving these demons and why they are doing what they're doing and what that behavior is and what it means and what it could lead to. It's very dark material, exorcisms and demonic possession. It's a very violent show, but there's just so much intensity to these scenes.
What do you want from me?
Being able to cross the line so far that you see the next line and then go over that one too really kind of lets us spread our wings and do some really exciting and crazy and dangerous things, to the point where they thought, you know, they really should have restricted us a little bit more. This is pretty over the top.
We have not been constrained in any way by what we can show. We can do riskier storytelling.
You want to have those moments during the show where you're like, oh God, I didn't expect to see that. And that's the thing you just have to talk about the next day when you see your friend. The story starts small in small-town West Virginia.
It's an Appalachian town, population about 5,000. Was originally fueled by the coal industry, but has been hit hard by hard times, and it's reflected in the look of the place, the feel of the place, and probably most importantly, the people who live here. It's a place that has a hard history, that is the epicenter of something mysterious and dangerous.
In the town, there's something going on. Lots of unusual happenings.
And I think there's a stain on this town, and it's getting worse.
Everyone maybe isn't what I thought they were at first. There's something going on here that's not typical.
The kind of town, too, where religion plays a big part in people's lives.
I let my guard down, and evil slipped in.
What happens to a community of people when their worldview gets challenged?
Kind of American Gothic.
Definitely everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody's business.
People are polite, even when they're not being polite.
It's almost like a German fairy tale, the way it's laid out. Very carefully, delicately, so that it's really scary.
Gabriel is like 100% commitment. And so they set up this pad, and he was like going for it.
Even though it's a small child, the action of it is so quick and brutal. This is pretty over the top. Adam Wingard, who directed the pilot, I remember pulling him aside and being like, that's really gonna freak people out. Do you think they'll let us do that? And he was like, yeah, let's go for that.
Gabriel was able to inhabit this physicality that's like really kind of unnatural for a 10-year-old to be able to do. Subtly bringing this like twitchy, itchy sort of discovery to the character.
He's showing signs of very animal-like behavior, which is common.
And he was really creepy, really, really good.
The scene where I was sucking Kyle's life away, it was hard not to smile, but I tried to think I'm enjoying sucking away his life, and I'm a psychopath, so that helped.
At that point, it's like Kyle's just trying to subdue whatever this is, and Kyle loses himself in the violence.
Patrick brought so much to that scene. He was able to kind of embody this guy that's, you know, at the end of his rope, and he doesn't really know what's happening.
Kyle is not only trying to help, but really taking out whatever's been building up over the last 20 years, really, at whatever force is inside this kid.
Kyle, what do you want from me?
What's really crazy is you're like, yeah, I mean, Kyle should be hitting this kid. It's pretty fucked up.
The great merge cannot be stopped.
As the second episode of the season, what drove it was this effort by Kyle to reclaim the life he had lost.
Kyle didn't get a childhood. Yeah, it is important that we see what his childhood could have been, and watching that get just sort of ripped out of his life.
You want to reclaim your family. You gotta let your mother go.
It was an exorcism episode in that Kyle's motive in doing that was to see if he could exorcise and save his mother the way he couldn't do 20 years ago.
Kyle needs some questions answered that only interacting with his mother can answer for him. I think he also needs to know, can he still help his mom? Is it actually over? Or is there something still inside of her?
There's a deep mythology to this show involving these demons. I mean, as we progress through the season, you see that Sarah Barnes was possessed for a long period of time, and so the demon inside of her damaged her body to a great extent, and so she's in a catatonic state for the rest of her life.
The fact that the exorcism of Kyle's mother in episode 2 fails, I think, is a sort of a statement about, you know, what we want the show to be. That it's going to be a tough road for him to get what he wants.
One of my favorite parts was discovering like what Sidney's doing there and the role he's playing. Who is he? Like, what does he represent? I love that storyline.
Hello, Sarah.
Mystic Sid. Where does he come from? I don't know. I think he's come to wreak havoc and destruction, but nobody seems to believe me.
The fact that we have Brent Spiner playing him is like, it makes it even cooler to me. I was very excited about his casting.
Tragic to see you like this. You had so much fire in you.
Sidney's a man with an agenda. He is a unique and distinctive character. The way Brent Spiner plays him is a man with a mission, and we were lucky to get Brent. He's amazing.
I found him really sensitive, but at that point, we don't know who he is. He's just a mystery.
We wanted people watching the show to understand that this is going to be driven by emotion, it's going to be driven by character. We also want to make sure that the audience feels satisfied that they are learning things about this mysterious power that has been haunting Kyle his whole life. I feel like episode 3 really is kind of a return to the promise of the pilot, is if you wanted scary, we'll give you scary.
When he comes in and he sees Blake with his wife, the look on his face of like, he doesn't even know how to process it. It was so good, I thought. I thought it was really well done, really disturbing. I like that shit though, really like, oh my God.
For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Kyle and Anderson go to the prison and confront Blake Morrow, who is a person who's been possessed for several years. It is our heroes essentially confronting a monster.
Reverend Anderson has always seen something unique about Kyle and his situation.
Is he in charge?
No.
He's the new kid on the block. I'm his mentor, if you like. I'm his trainer.
Use your intuition, Kyle. Read the signs.
As they get deeper and deeper into this mystery, these are two people that are at the center of this event of people being possessed by demons.
We're supposed to be fighting demons 2 by 2, isn't that right? That's what the Bible says, anyway.
He has this gift, and I become rather envious and jealous of the fact that I've been working at this for years and not really getting anywhere. And then a smart ass comes along, just touches people, and it all, you know, goes crazy.
Do you know me?
But what they do realise is that they need each other, basically, and need to work together.
Lee Tergesen, who's the actor who plays Blake, turns in an incredibly chilling performance as this guy.
He was varying it all up, and he was going for it, and then he was holding back on some other things, and yeah, it was interesting.
Fuck yeah. There you go. Yummy.
This is the kind of character that there's several ways to play every moment, every scene.
Lee is awesome. He's very real and raw. Like a lot of actors that are very, very good, they have like a natural sort of mania and intensity, and he's got it.
Hello, Megan. I thought that was you.
What Robert and I really wanted to maintain is that this is a show about people fighting demons, and the Meg and Donnie story is one of the most terrifying stories that we tell, and there's nothing supernatural about it.
Donnie Hamill, Megan and I go way back.
This guy comes into the town and has the audacity to just come up and shake hands with Mark. How'd you know that I was a police officer?
Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. It's scary to think about how our shit's out there for everyone to see, huh?
Donnie terrorized her when she was younger, and I think she felt like she escaped that. And what she's realizing in episode 4 is it's just as present as it ever was.
Megan used to always say that a knight on a big white stallion was gonna come and carry her away someday. You remember that, Megan?
Megan's a talker, so when she sees Donnie, she can barely speak, and she feels like she doesn't have any control.
You look great. And it was a pleasure to meet you, sir.
She's always been very kind of tight-lipped about it, because I think for her, even saying the words out loud mean that it's true.
How much did she tell you?
He abused her.
When I found out what he was doing, couldn't fight back and win or nothing. I could get in the way, take a beating.
Kyle sees himself as protector of the family and of the things that he loves and cares about, and considers the past with Donnie and Megan with a lot of gravity. Enough for him to just snap on sight.
He's always tried to be Megan's protector. Tried and failed.
Stay down, don't.
Kyle definitely has like a temper. Seeing that come out of him is important.
I was trying to play the guardian angel. Haven't you figured out they don't exist?
Megan decides it's not over, and she's like, I have an opportunity to finish this. She's taking back the power.
Megan showing up at his hotel. In a way, Donnie starts to feel validated in the worst possible way. Ask yourself why you're here in my hotel room all by yourself. Maybe I do haunt you.
Mark, when he's confronted with Donnie and who he is and what he has done and what he's done to Mark's family, he takes matters into his own hands.
Mark, this is a bad idea. That comeuppance, there's a little bit of the audience that is going, don't do it, don't do it.
Mark's demon comes out. We're gonna see the repercussions of that action.
Kyle, at least in the first season of the show, his agenda is not to fight demons. His agenda is to get his life back. We get this trigger for Allison of her memories coming back, realizing the horrible truth of what happened that night.
Allison, no.
Kyle is trying to determine whether or not I may still be possessed by a demon.
We never saw this black stuff coming out of her. It's like, did it happen? Is it still there?
I never thought that I still had the demon in me, but at the end of episode 5, I do go over to Kyle's house.
As much as Kyle wants to reunite and everything, I think he also wants to do it right. And so he has a respect for her space and also the restraining order.
I initiate a kiss, which I was very excited when I saw that in the script, especially because Allison was taking the initiative to do so. I was more surprised by the kiss than I was by the fact that I hadn't been possessed by a demon the entire time, for sure.
I made some stops in town. I did work with some of the groups that shelter the homeless. The director of the mission here thinks he's seen Sherry. I want to bring her home.
Anderson is forced to open his eyes to the truth that he wasn't successful when he thought he was.
Lord, you know my pain and distress. You understand the fear in my heart. I draw my strength from you and live in your limitless grace.
We start sort of falling out over it, you know? He wants to do it his way, I want to do it my way.
Stay away.
I'm not here to hurt you, okay?
You're the key. We need your light.
She starts to reveal that maybe Kyle has something to do with why they're there. That's what Kyle's been afraid of this whole time, is that he's bringing these things.
And it culminates in a fairly epic battle between Kyle and an entity.
They exorcise Sherry, and then she's comatose. Kyle has a huge problem with that. Reverend justifies it because he feels like, oh, we saved her soul. At least she's not tainted anymore. And Kyle's pretty concerned about that and is not going to take that step again without understanding better what it is he's capable of.
I can't run away from this.
He needs your help.
If I offended you, I'm sorry. And if this is my punishment, I humbly accept it.
That's gross.
Tell me about it. Ripped out from the root. Must have hurt like hell.
Put that thing away before I puke all over your desk.
So you tell me that's not yours?
I can get wild, officer. I think I'd remember losing a nail.
That's got your DNA.
Well, if I had a nickel for every place I left some DNA.
Look, some ugly shit happened when we found this. I just want to know what. Who was there? Somebody got hurt?
Wouldn't know.
You sure? DNA doesn't lie.
There are a lot of men on death row who might disagree with you.
All right, so there's nothing you can tell me about an old camper in the woods. Bunch of bloody carcasses nailed to trees.
I'm not real outdoorsy.
Patricia McCready from the Lauderdale Church. We met before. I need to talk to you.
What are you doing sitting in your car in the dark?
Didn't want to bother you, I suppose.
You scared of me? Crazy Kyle Barnes? Rome's own Boo Radley, is that it?
I'm not afraid of you. Not after what I saw today.
Rabbin called another live one, huh?